Welcome to the Chief Strategy Officer podcast, where we bring together the architects of corporate success, the chief strategy officers, in this special in-person conversation. Recorded at Adobe's global headquarters, I continue my discussion with Malte Vice President of Corporate Strategy and Incubator at Adobe. We go deeper inside Adobe's strategic engine to learn how this global innovator designs its own future, how his team leads corporate strategy and incubation, balancing looking around the corner with accelerating high-priority initiatives, and the early outcomes of that work. Great, so now I would like to get into a little bit of Adobe's strategy. We've sort of touched on it a little bit. We've got culture, we've got the incubator program, but just broadly about your kind of organizational model. What I've read is that you are making this shift from kind of a product-centric kind of organizational model and mindset towards a more customer-centric or customer segments. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes. So in March, we announced that we were going to focus our strategy, our innovation strategy, really on 3 audience groups. So you might now know that before and to now our products are really, like we talked about, clouds: Creative Cloud, Document Cloud, and Digital Experience Cloud. And more we're going to focus on the audiences we serve. So that is creative professionals and business professionals and consumers, creative professionals and creators, and then marketing professionals.
Okay.
And that really helps us to gear the innovation towards the needs of those customers, because they're fairly different. As our portfolio of products was really increasing and growing, you started having products in the portfolios that would serve different audiences.
Multiple audiences, or not one of those 3 audiences?
No, those 3, but within the same portfolio of products, you would have some that would be geared more towards one audience and different needs, and others that would be focused more on professionals.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because business professionals and consumers, that includes knowledge workers, students, you and me, billions of people. And think about anyone who's using Acrobat and PDF, right? It's literally everyone. And what's happening in that space is really productivity and creativity are merging, right? The way you're productive is more and more creative. It's easier to be creative, easier to express yourself, easier to merge those 2 aspects. And that's where, and we are seeing that more and more, and that's why in that audience group, for that audience, we're bringing together Acrobat Studio, and Express, right?
It sounds like, on one hand, just so logical, and yet at your scale, complicated, because we have innovation, you have product development, you have customer service, you have marketing, you have pricing, you have licensing, you have, like, I would imagine, lots of functions that have been neatly aligned with product. Maybe just like highlight for us some of the adjustments that you've had to make, or challenge that you faced, and how you overcame them.
I think in the end, when you have a decision like that, it stems from the fact that is where the opportunity lies, because you're seeing it, right? So it's almost like you're seeing the friction, and you're saying, this will help. This will help accelerate growth, channel innovation, make the messages, make the marketing easier and clearer, right? For instance, this first audience group we talked about, business professionals and consumers, there it's all about quick and easy creativity, right? And productivity. It's like, you want a task, you want to do it. It's not your full-time job to be a creative, right? It's, you just want to accomplish the task easily, seamlessly. You don't want to spend a lot of time learning a tool, right? But it should be there, and it should be delightful, it should be amazing, and to do it easily and fast. So that actually, if you're a marketer or if you're in sales, it's like, okay, now I know who I want to go after. My entire message and our efforts are geared towards making those users succeed, right? Using our technology, using our platform, using AI to make them succeed.
What are the other audience groups?
So we put together like business professional and consumers, and then the other big 2 audiences. The first one is creative professionals and creators, and there the priority is really, how do you give them power and precision to express their vision, to create what they need to create.
Right.
Right. So the premise is slightly different
Yes.
than for business professionals and consumers. And then for marketing professionals, the focus is obviously how to create, distribute, optimize digital experiences. And there we talk about
Coordinate kind of the digital experiences and the creativity is
exactly that our customers
right. Yes.
are going to experience. And there we talk about the content supply chain.
Okay.
So how within a imagine one of our largest customers like Home Depot, Nike, etc. How do they manage the supply chain of content? You know, generating what's on brand, what's needed for a certain campaign, and then trickle that through. By the time you're done with the campaign, you have gazillion of assets, right? That you then need to orchestrate and bring into the right experiences, journeys. What are the journeys? What are the audiences? Then we talk about customer engagement. How do our customers again use our software to engage with their audiences and organize journeys, define audiences? And the last one is how the last aspect for marketing professionals is then brand visibility. Like how do you show up? How do you show up in your website? How do you show up on the web? How do you make sure that you succeed, especially as the web is slowly becoming more agentic?
Yes. So my understanding is then that sort of traditionally you've had the Creative Cloud, which are for creators and designers. You've had Experience Cloud, which is more for marketing and customer experience people. But now it sounds like you're talking about being able to like string a customer segment through both of them. So how are you thinking of integrating those? Or
so you're talking about the intersection between creative professionals and marketing professionals, right? And that is very interesting because more and more that is a union, right? Like for a company, you're enabling more and more people within the company to actually be agile, to use their content. You're enabling the marketer to self-serve to a certain extent and create the variations, the content, the aspects that they need, while you're also enabling the creative professionals to feed that, to create the right context, the right frameworks, the right guidelines, the brands that will be used. So create the system that will be used by others to generate their own content. So you see how those worlds of professional creativity and professional marketing are really coming together. And we're serving customers in more and more, frankly, deals and transactions that involve both aspects. So a customer is a customer of both areas.
So I think maybe I could answer this, but I won't get it exactly right. How does that ability to merge, right, with the fact that you have kind of both of these capabilities, how does that give Adobe an advantage? Or how does it leverage an advantage?
I mean, we are uniquely positioned, right? We are uniquely positioned in all of these areas, but then if you talk about content and digital marketing.
Barriers to entry scale there.
We have a very big surface area, right, in terms of how we serve them and how we also understand their needs and their workflows.
Yeah. Understanding, and you're able to integrate in ways that kind of the point solutions have difficulty doing. What are some of your other key advantages that you bring into this future that we laid out, and what does that future look like for you?
I mean, when you think about Adobe, we have obviously this deep understanding of our customers, right, across these audiences and of their workflows and what their needs are and what it means for them to succeed and what their ultimate objectives are. And then obviously we have a tremendous breadth in our portfolio and technology assets to bring to bear to help them succeed and also to surface through different ways, through different tools or applications, platforms, and build those platforms so the customers will succeed. And then we talked before, we have the history of rapid innovation and of creating these new categories and of thinking ahead that we bring to bear. And then a company like Adobe has, very scaled routes to market. We have a strong brand. Increasingly, trust matters. And I would say trust you consider as a key asset that the company has. And then the global reach. because we are serving people around the globe.
And then also I've heard you and your executives talk also about commercially safe AI and being able to deliver on that. Can you explain what that means? And why
that is a great question. So
I got one.
no, they're all great questions. But this is a question we are very passionate about at Adobe. So very early on in our journey in the era of AI, we decided to create our own family of models, which is called Firefly, family of AI models that are all commercially safe. So it's for generating images, but also video.
Explain what commercially safe means.
Okay. It means that you can rest assured that you're not infringing on any copyright.
Yeah.
And we achieve that by simply training our models only on data that we have the full rights to.
Gotcha.
That are not being scraped anywhere or anything else.
Yeah.
And so our customers, both on the individual creative side and especially on the enterprise side, said, I want to have these models where I can be absolutely sure that I'm safe commercially, right? That I'm not infringing on anyone's rights. No, it's interesting because that is very, very relevant when you use the model for something that we'd call like production, the final asset, the assets that you're going to use commercially.
Okay.
No, as we're evolving in the era of AI, you're also saying you're also using models and generations, et cetera, for other things like ideation earlier in the workflow, right? Earlier in your process, we say, hey, what's whenever you're inspired, what are the different ideas? How can you collaborate with others and use models to ideate? So we've partnered with many players throughout the industry, including Google, Black Forest Labs. So those models are available within our tool because in the end, we want to offer you the platform where you have everything you need to succeed and you have the exact environment and you can collaborate with others. And why not give you the best technology for that specific job? Or let you choose.
Yeah, I like that. It's I know this is certainly, but this is not the reason that you do that, right? You want to be customer centric and give them what they want.
That's right.
A byproduct of that is you also sort of lower the switching cost on the model component, which sort of, I won't say commoditizes the model relative to the other parts, but it
I mean, it's also a value to our customers that they are easily able to find the best model for their job.
That's the right reason to do it.
And we also, there's rapid model innovation, and there's also specialization. So certain models are much better or have certain aesthetic that is better in one area than another. And we want to make that available to our customers because that's ultimately, and in strategy, we talked about what strategy is. Ultimately, you always go back to the customer. You always go back to, hey, what is best for the customer will make them succeed. If you do that well and serve them well there, then you'll succeed.
Makes sense. All right, so I want to just look a little under the hood at how you organize the strategy function here at Adobe. So just give us a sense of how is the Adobe strategy and incubation function structured?
It's pretty typically that we have a central corporate strategy team that works across the entire business. So we work with all partners throughout the business units, functional groups, a lot with the product teams. And I'd say actually that's one of the beauties of working at Adobe. Everybody's very open to working together. Like it's always, oh, I'm glad you're looking at this question. I'm glad you're working on that. How can I help?
That's great because that's not always the case.
And it's not like my experience, we talked about years back when I was at McKinsey, it was always like, who asked you to do this? No, you don't have access to the data. I don't have time for a meeting. Who's your boss? What are you going to say about me?
You're talking about with the client, not the firm, right?
With the client, not the firm. In the client engagements. But so luckily here, it's nothing like that. So from that perspective, it's very easy to work.
That's great.
Across the company. And I'd say, so we constantly hire, the best and brightest, and they have a great career. Many of them then grow into the business, and especially if they come with management consulting experience, they say, hey, after 2, 3, 4 years, I'm actually interested in product management or in operations or in finance or in marketing. And we have all of those examples where people transitioned. Some of them became VPs already.
And that becomes a helpful network internally, right?
It becomes a network. It also becomes a talent feeder. So we got a little bit the reputation of being a great talent feeder for the organization. And that stems from the great exposure that people get and the fact that people on the team also work across. So I would say that 50% of what we do is what Shantanu would call looking around the corner.
Okay.
And that's where we are a little more uniquely positioned, which is this one thing that only we really can do or do is this looking around the corner. So what is next? What are new opportunities for the companies? What are big trends happening? What are things we should pay attention to? And being the ones to point the finger at it and saying, hey, are we responding accurately? Do we need to do something about it? And obviously AI and what's happening in AI is taking a lot of our capacity in that area nowadays. And actually I'd say what makes a strategy team, it's like in the end, there's smart people everywhere throughout the company. It's more like we have the luxury of time. We don't have the pressure to deliver a quarterly number. We don't have the pressure to integrate the next feature into a product. We have the luxury to step back, have an outside-in point of view, and have an opinion about what's happening in the market, what are new opportunities, blue oceans, and so on. We can look at. So, I mean, that's sort of what defines working on a strategy team, right? So that's 50%. I'd say like 40% then is spent on really accelerating the priority initiatives that have already been declared within the business units. So let's say if we have like big must-win areas, things where we say that will really be important for the future of the company, we tend to partner and say, well, do we have a winning strategy? What is happening in the landscape? What's happening with the competition? Is there competition? What's happening with it? And all the way, whatever is needed to make sure, are we well structured to succeed in that area?
Just a clarification, maybe the nuance. And so it's not just strategic projects, it is also kind of like strategic arenas that you are, right? Okay.
And in all of those, what's interesting is we put a lot of these topics we put on the table. Meaning, again, comparing to a McKinsey or other strategy groups, it's not so much that we are order takers and saying, hey, please help me with this scope. It's much, there's something reassuring.
You're proactively kind of triggering, recognizing that. Hey,
That's right. That's right. It's like, it's almost like it's part of our job, right? That is to identify what are the areas where we need to poke our nose in, right? Or help accelerate and help succeed.
Love it.
And then either 10% remaining, 10% remaining is basically strategic planning. So that's not so much the process of it, but it's more how do we define, again, what are the key priorities we want to focus on? It's also what is the strategic narrative for the company? How do we, and how we tell it?
For the change, for the kind of the change management component of.
And how do we communicate? Partnering with obviously the entire executive team, but how do you communicate what the position is for the company, what the go-forward strategy is, and communicate that internally and also externally.
Certainly. Yeah, got it. And has it always been that this has been an internal function? I guess maybe since you've been here, but at what stage do you think a company should be doing this internally versus externally?
I think it's really important to own your own destiny and have a team internally that and you get a lot of benefits by having the team that's experienced in the industry and that is well connected throughout the company, right? So I don't think that there's a size limit for having. Maybe it's a question of size of the team, but there's no time where that's not beneficial.
Yes, makes sense. Let's talk about the incubator program then. You added incubator to your title just a little bit over a year ago. We talked about a little bit already what is structured, but what inspired the creation of the incubator program now?
I mean, it is really with the entering the era of AI, where we said, what are all these things that are sort of today at the edges or might become strategic, might become the center, might become relevant in the future? What are the new businesses, products that we want to explore and that don't neatly fit within the existing business units, products, etc. Right? Where you also don't want to almost distract the product teams, even if they're really fully focused on satisfying their customers with their products and innovation in those areas, but experimenting with new things. And this is really a vehicle we fully understand, and the teams who work on, we call them ventures within the incubator, fully understand that it's like doing a startup. It's risky. Your most likely outcome is to fail.
Yes.
No, failure is great because it allows us all to learn and to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And that learning typically is reused somewhere else, like
Yes.
in the existing products or for M&A or other areas.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And even just the law of averages. If we get a failure, then that gets us closer to a success.
That's right.
So I know that you recently hosted a pitch day for incubators. Before we get into some of the examples, what are some of those themes that or areas that emerged as problems or opportunities?
So let me just say that pitch day was absolutely flabbergasting.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So we said we had a call for ventures and submissions, and we had 168 teams.
Wow.
So Adobe is 30,000, a bit more than 30,000 people. Worldwide, we had 168 teams apply. That's 382 people in smaller teams, right? Who submitted a pitch deck, a video, and most of them a prototype, because nowadays it's so easy to quickly create like vibe code, like a prototype. And then of these, and they came from all across the globe, from them we selected 7 that came here to San Jose.
From 168 down to 7?
Down to 7. It was a big selection. So what we did actually, with all of those, there was a lot of goodness in those ideas. We went through the detailed work of putting them in touch with the existing product teams or other functional teams where those ideas might be relevant. Right? So we're keeping sort of a big database of all because we don't want that to be lost. I mean, I keep being amazed at how much innovation and new ideas there are throughout the company, and how people really don't just, it's cheap to have an idea. Like you would even, in venture capital, you would even say like an idea that doesn't have any value. It's execution of this idea that matters. But even people who go the extra step of experimenting and trying those ideas or doing a prototype, even talking to potential customers, and who feel deeply passionate about that. And that's what you want. Like what is an idea that succeeds or a venture that succeeds probably requires someone who's building that product for themselves, who have a deep empathy with that problem.
Yes.
It's right. It's very tough to be like a consultant and say, oh, let me look at an area that might work and then create a whole product and really dedicate.
It's not easy innovating from within. It helps to have a passion or commitment and intimacy with the problem and wanting to solve it.
And so of these 168 applications, we dwindled it down to 7 who came to pitch here in this building. We have a big space. It was open to everybody. It was streamed globally.
What were some of those, or if you're allowed to share?
The 7?
Those, or some of them, yeah.
Yeah, so,
successes.
I mean, obviously they're all not very well defined, but it's a very exciting area. So for instance, one area was about how to control video creation in a very fine way in space in order to conserve, spatial accuracy and be able to direct that generation super accurately for professional type output. Another one was around how to orchestrate a very large amount of different models who might be very, very good at certain tasks. How to decide to orchestrate, make them all dance together in a conversational interface to get to your output. Another one was maybe a little bit more short term. It's like how to really translate data in a way that's easy to generate, to depict data and consume data in a way that's really intuitive and easy and appealing. So you might think dashboards, graphs, etc. But how do you really create those, understand those, make them be able to be consumed in different ways easily or easily generated?
I see it.
And that could
be
used.
The dashboard can almost be a creative design, and so we have kind of a way to do a creative design of the
and do
dashboard.
you really can you infer everything you need from it, and then can you confirm it?
It's actually accurate.
Yeah, it's accurate, actually guaranteed, and can you consume it in different ways?
I love that.
So that you can see the application of that in many different
Oh my
products,
gosh.
right?
Oh
So
my
this
gosh.
is more of an ingredient
Yes.
in existing products we have.
Yeah.
And it's almost more short-term than the other two I mentioned.
Interesting. Yeah, that goes back to what we were getting to before, that verbal versus visual communication. I think the visual communication, there's lots of opportunities there. So we talked about some of the specific projects that came out the most recent pitch day, but you launched Incubator, started developing it, over a year ago. What are some of the early successes that you have seen out of the Incubator?
We've been quite lucky, knocking on wood. We've had quite a few things that already have had a bit of impact throughout the company. So maybe I mentioned Brand Concierge. Brand Concierge is a tool for enterprises to provide conversational shopping experience for their customers on their assets, on their properties, on their websites, etc. Really transforming how your website will look for your customers in a very agentic way, because you think that that experience will evolve. So that was the idea. The concept was born in the strategy team and then the incubator. Then maybe I'll tell you about one really exciting product that is GA now is Firefly Boards.
What's GA mean?
Generally available.
Great.
As opposed to in beta and alpha, beta.
Okay.
This is now available to everybody. You should play with it.
Okay.
It's a really exciting product. So it's part of Firefly. What Boards is really we designed it to be the surface for ideation. So it's an infinite canvas, multiplayers, you can collaborate in it. You can use in it our own Firefly models. You can also use third-party models.
Love it.
And it's really delightful. We talked about prompts before.
No.
It's sort of a way you use prompts, but you can also use other things, style references, merging images. It's very visual. You create different, and then you create different avenues. Sort of, you have an idea. Imagine the way a creative works, a creative professional. Okay, here's one avenue. I'm going to explore how this looks. Oh, I like this one. I'm going to create another branch here. So it's like branches, and you can freely group them. It's a very delightful experience. It's with one executive at Adobe who likes it. It's buttery smooth. It works super well. And that's a very exciting project. You can try it. It's really good. Another exciting project that actually was announced this week is very interesting. So this week, Samsung announced their XR headset, the Galaxy XR, virtual reality headset. The first XR headset that runs on Android. And with it, we help co-develop with Google a product that's an app to help edit spatial video and images. So imagine now you have a photo or a video that's in 3D. You can easily place objects and After Effects in those in those videos. You can also take 2D images, infer the depth map. It creates a 3D scene, and then you can place your objects. And then, so you can obviously use it in your headset, but even in 2D, it's very useful, because if you see it on the screen, because then also you can have these objects and you work across, you show them three-dimensional. When you move, you pan a camera, those objects move in space. It's a magical experience. So you can watch online the announcement from Samsung. It was really exciting. And that was also the big reveal of our Project Pulsar. Maybe the last one I mentioned is also super exciting. It's Adobe Podcast. So that's for voice-first creators, podcast creators, you know. And one of the hero products is Voice Enhance, which is absolutely magical. I mean, you can record in any environment, and it makes all the noise go away. It changes. You can choose how, there's a sound. I discovered there's a sound to spaces, whether you talk in a cathedral or in a space like this today, the sound is very different. You can create all that. And we just won the Time 100 Best Inventions of 2025 for Voice Enhance. So that's a venture we incubated within the incubator at Adobe.
That's amazing.
So that's super exciting product too.
Amazing.
And that's now going to be part of also like our Firefly efforts and everything that's available to our AI first sort of creation suite.
Yes. Fascinating. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know we're reaching the top of our time with you. I know you've written a lot about execution. You're passionate about execution. Maybe just give us a couple tips on things that, in your experience, are important to know to be effective at executing some of these ideas when they do prove or not prove.
Yeah. I think the one thing I always tell my team is like, we can't just throw an analysis or recommendation or idea over the fence.
Yeah.
Over the fence to whom, right? To the business unit, to the product groups. So it's very important actually to be in sync with the business rhythm, with the cadence in the business, and understand how anything we believe should be done differently or should be emphasized, or any recommendation fits within, or we can make it fit within the current plan, the operating plan, and that there is going to be an owner, that there's going to be the right resource allocation, that there's going to be the right level of prioritization for those ideas, and that everybody agrees.
Someone from the business that's going to
be dedicated to it.
Yep.
We can partner with them, and I'm totally happy to dedicate people to it for a long term. We don't need to work just within short projects.
Yes.
But even then, you probably want an owner on the business side.
Yes.
And to make sure that there's also a very clear alignment on what the ultimate objective is, right? And why we are doing it.
Yes.
So all that is also part of strategy, because without that, it's, what is it? Strategy without execution is hallucination, right? So
strategy without action is a daydream, and an action without strategy is a nightmare.
So there you go. Exactly. So we don't want to create any nightmares. We actually want to create growth and make sure that there's so that's everybody understands that that's fully part of our job.
So you have all these activities. You got the 50% seen around the corner, 40% pushing. You've got some that are you're still kind of in the strategy. Some of them are in partnership with, and some of them are already outside. How do you balance that portfolio and make sure that you have the right balance you're managing between those long-term bets and the near-term results?
That's a great question, because you really need to act in both areas, right? So there's no, what Shantanu, our CEO, likes to say, like, there's no long-term without short-term. It's just,
that's
you
great.
know,
That's great.
it's really good, right?
Good.
So because,
so simple.
but it's funny because people like us tend to live in the long term and say what is needed there. And this is a good reminder that you need to make sure that you actually execute well in the short term. If not, you'll never have a chance to work on that long term.
I'm writing this down.
So there's a series of projects where we work on where we make sure that we succeed with the current initiatives and that we are well positioned there and we achieve their full potential. Because it's only in the execution that you really see if your strategy works out, you realize its full potential, right? On another hand, you know, we both have worked in management consulting. Sometimes it's a very safe position because you're going to say, oh, why didn't it work out? Oh, we didn't execute. Why did the recommendation was right, but the execution wasn't appropriate. So if we believe in our recommendation, we better make sure that the execution is appropriate, right? And works. So what I've found in the work we do is that there's sort of two arcs. There's a short-term arc, there's projects that fall within the short-term arc and some that fall within a very long-term arc. So what I mean with that is in the short-term arc would be, hey, help me with a certain product initiative, help me with a country, like make sure that we actually accelerate and find the right levers. That's like a 6-month project, work closely with them, that you have a clear beginning and an end and a clear return on investment, if you want to, of your time. It's sort of the typical sort of relatively well-scoped thing where you have a clear impact at the end of the rainbow. Now, what's much more impactful but complicated is the longer-term arc. We talked before about our orientation towards audience groups. That's a new strategic orientation. That is a long arc, which Adobe will use this orientation for many years and it will produce a lot of growth. Many product initiatives, much innovation will fall under this new construct.
Right.
That's a very long arc, right? That's also something we helped push.
Right. Fascinating. And there's so much more we could cover, but we've covered a lot. And what I think I particularly appreciate about this conversation is that I get the sense that Adobe operates at this intersection, right, of like enterprise and the individual, have creativity and technology, almost like a vortex, and to be with a company that has sensed and adjusted before, and now seeing how you are sensing and adjusting to the new AI reality is just very informative. So thank you for sitting with us and for taking the time to unpack some of the insights and directions.
Yeah. Thank
Great
you.
having you, Malte.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for coming out here.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
That wraps up this in-depth look at how Adobe's strategy and incubation engine drives innovation at scale, bridging creativity, technology, and disciplined execution. But to truly appreciate how this story began, go back to part 1 of this conversation on the Outthinkers podcast. There, Malte and I explore the broader canvas of industry transformation, the external trends that are reshaping not just Adobe, but the entire creative economy as a whole. In that episode, you'll hear about the once-in-a-lifetime shift unfolding in the tech landscape, how AI is democratizing creativity while amplifying professional capability, the rise of personalization at scale, and the agentic web, why brand authenticity still matters in a world of infinite customization, and how the future of creativity will depend not on replacing humans, but on elevating human originality. Listen or watch part 1 on Outthinkers to see how these macro trends connect with the internal strategy you've just heard about. Together, the 2 episodes tell one complete story: the external forces shaping the future of creativity and the internal strategy powering one of the companies defining it.